Prabodha Chintamani, 50 Reflections on Morals. Mahamahopadhyaya Vidwan, Dr. K.G. Subraya Sharmaji, Sadguru ji. Book. In that, we have already seen 40 reflections. Now, another 10 reflections we shall see now, starting from 41. ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ श्रीगणेशाय नमः. Wake up. It is not unusual to give or receive a cautionary wake up call. Rulers to subjects, doctors to patients, teachers to students, parents to children, and so on. Responding to the call leads to peace, contentment, and good health. Ignoring it leads to problems. India's ancient sages in the thousands have sounded a caution based on their own scriptural understanding and personal experience. They say, अनित्यानि शरीराणि विभवान इव शाश्वताः नित्यं सन्निहितो मृत्युः तस्माज्जाग्रत जाग्रत. Addressing all mankind, they say that human life is inevitably short. Death lies around the corner. All our worldly accomplishments are short lived. Therefore, one should focus attention on living a life of dharma and understanding our own true nature. This threefold message of the sages is definitely worth reflecting on in depth. This physical body of ours is nothing but an assemblage of physical matter and is necessarily subject to decay and death. Thus, we ought not to rely on it as something permanent in which we invest ourselves. This is the first message. The second message, that is Anityani Sharirani. The second message is Vibhava Naiva Shashvataha, that none of our possessions is permanent either. Wealth, relationships, youth, uh, youthhood, learning, beauty, authority are all temporary and may disappear at any time. It is foolish to make them a source of pride. Vibhava naiva shashvata. And the third message is Nityam sannihito mrutyuhu. All beings inevitably die. Death follows us as a shadow. Thus, anyone who thinks of himself as eternal in any way is a fool. These are the three messages of the sages. By understanding these messages, we can attain natural and eternal bliss. 42. Science and Vedanta. This is a scientific era. Our lives are filled with science and technology. The use of technology has meant better communication, transport, electronic gadgetry, computers, air conditioning, and so on. And there seems to be no shortage of money either. Money buys all goods, fine clothes, ornaments, food, and many luxuries. These are the contributions of modern science and technologies. This is modern civilization. All this is perfectly true, but have science and technologies brought real peace and eternal happiness? Not at all. Modernization and ostentation do not bring contentment or peace. The modern science and technologies have made our life just comfortable and easy, but not at all happy or peaceful or blissful. Then, how does Vedanta help? Vedanta teaches us that man can attain peace and contentment by practicing simplicity, contentment, brotherliness, sense restraint, reflecting on the scriptures, and meditating on God. The joy that comes from contentment far exceeds the enjoyment of sense pleasures. Our lives are afflicted by restlessness, greed, anger, desire, selfishness, conceit, etc. The panacea that banishes all these afflictions is knowledge of our own nature. The Kathopanishad boldly proclaims, Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham. The eternal bliss is available only for those that are having self enlightenment. Tesham Shantihi Shashvati Netaresham. Those that are enlightened alone can get real and permanent peace. Reflecting on the messages of Vedanta alone can lead the world to peace and happiness. There is no other way. Next, 43. The glory of self knowledge. There are so many fields of knowledge to master in the world. Each field of knowledge has so many divisions and specializations. It is impossible for one person to master all of them in one lifetime. The fields are vast, while time and intellectual capacity are limited. अनन्तशास्त्रं बहुवेदितव्यम् अल्पश्च कालो बहवश्च विघ्नाः यत्सारभूतं तदुपासितव्यं हंसो यथा क्षीरमिवाम्बुमिश्रम्. There are many fields of knowledge. Man's life is short and the obstacles to learning are many. There are many fields of knowledge. Ananta Shastram. Bahu Veditavyam. Man's life is short and there is to be learnt are many. Alpascha Kalaha. Man's life is short. Bhavascha Vignaha. The obstacles to learning are many. Yat Sarabhutam Tadupasitavyam. Therefore, one needs to focus on that which is the most important and useful. How? Hamso yatha kshiramivambu mishram. Just as a swan separates milk from water, even the wise man must learn to separate the essence of life from the useless things. The Vedas, Upanishads, and other holy scriptures teach us the supreme knowledge, knowledge of the self. Self knowledge is itself liberation, and it is the essence of all knowledge. Mundaka Upanishad says, Brahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. Knowledge of the Supreme Brahman is the very base and substratum of all kinds of knowledge. Lord Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has lavishly praised self knowledge in 9.2, that is ninth chapter, second shloka. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumabhyayam. Let us all strive to attain self knowledge and supreme bliss. Next, 44th chapter. The message is the Vedas are the roots of our spiritual traditions in India. The essence of the Vedas is presented in the Upanishads. The message of the Upanishads is self knowledge. Along with self knowledge, the Upanishads also convey messages related to law, dharma, obligatory duties, humor, and so on. These are universal messages. Here is a charming story from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that belongs to the Shukla Yajurveda branch of the Vedas. The creator had three sons of differing personalities, gods, humans, and demons. All three approached their father and reverently asked him to give them his teaching for living life well. They followed his instructions for strict tapas for a year. Thereupon, he instructed each of them with the having given them some time to reflect on his teaching of the father asked each of his sons whether they had properly understood his message. Yes, they answered, we have understood it well. He asked them to explain what they had understood by the. The gods who are inclined towards sense enjoyment answered that the means to practice dhamma, that is, sense restraint. The humans who are prone to greed and selfishness answered that the meant to practice dana, that is charity. The demons who were by nature very cruel and violent answered that the word the meant to practice daya, that is compassion. The Creator was very happy that they had each understood his message well. Reflecting their own natural tendencies, they had each given the word the a different meaning. We too should practice sense restraint, charity, and compassion. 45. Why teachings are aimed only at humans? There are many religions and religious sects in the world, each with its own texts explaining various philosophical and moral teachings. Followers of these groups do their best to live according to their teachings. All this is well known to us. The question arises, why all these teachings are aimed only at humans and not also to animals and birds? There are animals that are larger than humans, such as elephants and camels, lions and tigers, reptiles, pet animals, and so on are also plentiful, but There are no attempts to convey moral advice to them. Only humans are taught not to lie or steal or hurt others. Why is that? There's a simple answer to this question. It is only humans who are intent to pleasure seeking that indulge in these objectionable practices such as stealing, cheating, hurting others in order to satisfy some selfish desire or seeking physical comfort. Animals do not engage in selfishness or falsehood even in their dreams. Animals live their lives relying only on God given sources of food without indulging in cheating or lying. They do not covet the food that men eat. However, humans do deprive animals of their food and even eat the animals themselves. Men will stoop to any level to satisfy their selfishness and greed. For their own pleasure, humans will resort to injustice, hatred, falsehood, and immoral practices. Hence, it's only humans that need the advice given in the moral scriptures. 46th one, five meanings of brahmacharya. Great rishis have proclaimed from their personal experience the wonderful accomplishments that accompany brahmacharya. Brahmacharya literally means brahmani charyam, walking in Brahman. The Amarkosha gives five meanings to the word Brahman. Vedas tattvam tapo brahma prajapatihi. In the neuter gender, the word Brahman has three meanings: the Vedas, Paramatman, and Tapas. In the masculine gender, the word Brahman has two meanings: Brahmanas and Hiranyagarbha. Hence, Brahmacharya has the following five interpretations. One, walking in the Vedas, that is, studying and teaching the Vedas, being devoted to the study of the Vedas. Walking in Paramatman, that is, established devotion in supreme consciousness, living in the conviction that I am Brahman. Third one, practice of tapas, that is cultivating the qualities of calmness of mind, non-attachment, forbearance, faith, and devotion. Fourth one, living as a brahmana, that is cultivating the qualities of a brahmana, that is study and teaching of scriptures, performing worship and helping others. Do so, practicing charity and living on charity, being firm in these practices. Worship of Hiranyagarbha, fifth one, that is living a life of detachment, constant remembrance of and worship of primordial source of the universe. All men can practice these qualities of brahmacharya. If students today practice these virtues and live healthy lives devoted to study and learning, would not the world be a much better place? Guruji asks. Next, 47th one, seven wake up calls. Sri Shankaracharya has proclaimed five wake up calls to caution spiritual aspirants. Mata nasti pita nasti nasti bandhu sahodarah artham nasti griham nasti tasmat jagrata jagrata. In ultimate reality, relationships such as that is Jagrata Panchaka, such as mother, father, etc., are meaningless. Wealth, house, etc., are illusory possessions in ultimate reality. Therefore, O men, wake up, wake up. Janma dukkham, jara dukkham, jaja dukkham, punah punah. Samsara sagaram dukkham, tasmat jagrata jagrata. Birth, death, spouse, all of life is full of sorrow. Therefore, O men, wake up, wake up. कामः क्रोधश्च लोभश्च देहे तिष्ठन्ति तस्कराः ज्ञानरत्नापहाराय तस्मात् जाग्रत जाग्रत. Desire, anger, and greed are like thieves living in us who aim to steal the jewel of knowledge from our minds. आशाया बध्यते लोकः आशया बध्यते लोकः कर्मणा बहुचिन्तया आयुः क्षीणं न जानाति तस्मात् जाग्रत जाग्रत. Desire, actions, and anxiety bind all humans, making them unaware that their lives are slipping away. Sampada swapna sankasha. Therefore, O men, wake up, wake up, wake up. तत्सम्पदस्वप्नसङ्काशाः यौवनं कुसुमोपमं विद्युच्चञ्चलमायुष्यं तस्मात् जाग्रत जाग्रत. Wealth is like a dream. Youth is a short-lived as a flower. Yauvanam kusumopamam. Life is flower is only one day's life. Life is like a flash of lightning. Vidyuchanchalam. Vidyut means lightning. Kshanam vittam, kshanam chittam, kshanam jeevitamevacha. Yamasya karuna nasti tasmat jagrata jagrata. Wealth, mental attention, and life itself last barely a moment. Death has no mercy. Anityani sharirani vibhava naiva shashvataha. Nityam sannihito mrityuhu tasmat jagrata jagrata. Our bodies are short-lived, our glories are passing. Death is always close to hand, therefore wake up. Next, 48th one. Why fear death? Modern man fears little. He is sure of his capacity to overcome all obstacles by the use of his wealth, authority, intellect, technology, or occult knowledge. There is some truth to that. But there is one fear that grips all humans, the fear of death. People make every effort to escape death, but inevitably they do die, and indeed they should. As the sages have said, all those who are born are surely going to die. Hmm? जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च. Why do people तस्माद् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे ನ ತ್ವಂ ಶೋಚಿತುಮರ್ಹಸಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವೇ ಅರ್ಜುನ ಈಸ್ ಟಾಟ್ ಬೈ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಇನ್ ಗೀತಾ. ವೈ ಡು ಪೀಪಲ್ ಫಿಯರ್ ಡೆತ್? ವೈ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈವನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಫರ್ಮ್, sick, weak, and poverty stricken all wish to live longer and cling to life? The sages have a striking explanation. प्रायेण कृतकृत्यत्वात् मृत्योरुद्विजते जनः कृतकृत्याः प्रतीक्षन्ते मृत्युं प्रियमिवातिथिं. Death agitates those who have not achieved their life's ambitions. Those whose lives have been fulfilled welcome death as a dear guest. They do not fear death. मृत्योर्बिभेषि किं मूढ जातं मुञ्चति किं यमः अजातन्नैव गृह्णाति कुरु यत्नम् अजन्मनि. We are born to fear death. So how do we overcome this fear? Is there a way of escaping death? Great enlightened souls give this advice. O fool, why do you fear death? Has death ever spared anyone who has been born? Not at all. But death can hardly catch someone who is not born. So, why not gain the supreme knowledge of the birthless, pure consciousness and know ourselves to be birthless and immortal? Then we are no longer afflicted by the fear of death. Next, 49th chapter, Beyond the Reach of the Sun. The divine has indicated in the Upanishads is known as Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman. In the Puranas, the Supreme Self is presented in a variety of names and forms known as Pauranic gods such as Indra, Chandra, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Mitra, Varuna, Adyama, Agni, Vak, Gauri, Lakshmi, Durga, etc. Each of these gods have their own gender, spouse, sons, glories, realms, weapons, limbs, ornaments, and special forms. Each one has its own unique personality. No, not so with Supreme Brahman. Parabrahman is neither male nor female, neither girl nor boy, and has neither mother nor father. While being the essential self of all beings, Parabrahman is not cognizable by any of the standard means of cognition. The sun illuminates all the physical worlds but is unable to reach or illuminate Parabrahman. Brahman is the very source of the light of the sun itself. Hence it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 15:6. न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः. And the Kathopanishad also says न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति. Not even the sun can add light to the Supreme Brahman, the self of all, which is itself of the nature of pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. The one who realizes the Supreme Brahman as not different from his own self is beyond all worldly sorrows. Last chapter in this Prabodha Chintamani, 50 reflections on morals. 50th one. Is wealth more important than peace of mind? Wealth seems to be the supreme goal of modern man. Education, power, fame, or industry all seem to be directed towards the accumulation of wealth. Men are prepared to go to any lengths to become rich and devote their whole lives to this one purpose. As it is said, At the mention of wealth, even a corpse will open its eyes. That is dead body. Is there a limit to this desire for wealth? How much wealth is ever enough? Is any rich person ever contented with the wealth he possesses? What we have is never enough. We always wish for more, and there is no such thing as contentment. Does unlimited wealth bring peace or happiness? Not at all. If wealth could buy happiness, there would be a long line of customers. The sad and blatant truth is that we cannot purchase happiness or bliss by money in markets or bazaars. If peace and happiness is what we really desire, should we not make an effort to achieve these goals? It is knowledge alone that can bring us peace and happiness. Lord Krishna, who is the embodiment of peace and happiness, gives this advice in the Gita, 4th chapter, 39th shloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparas sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena dhigacchati. If peace of mind is our goal, we should acquire knowledge of our true self. We should become seekers of the truth expounded in the Bhagavad Gita. Peace of mind comes only with self knowledge by the grace of the Guru. Liberation is no different from peace. Om Tat Sat Sadguru Charanarpitamastu. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु ॐ तत्सत् Next we shall see next books written by Sadguru Dr. K. Subraya Sharmaji. Om Tat Sat.